The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
You are now listening to the Radio Show ATL.
All right, the Radio Show ATL, we're back. The we is 16 and ATL Diva. Diva, what's going on? It's just us this time.
It is, but it's been a long time, so I'm really happy to be here tonight.
Absolutely. So, all right, you know what the deal is. We're here to talk about something. So, what's on the agenda for today?
Well. Now, in the year of 2025, with all the scandals going on, we would be remiss if we did not include this current scandal with Shannon Sharpe. Now, for those of you who do not know who Shannon Sharpe is, some of you may know him as a former NFL Hall of Famer. Other people recently know him from Club Shay Shay and Nightcap with Ocho Cinco. So he is also an ESPN analyst for the sports watchers and for us that kind of just like interviews and a little bit of drama. You probably have seen him on YouTube with his two podcasts. That's who we're going to talk about. He done found himself in yet another sexual scandal. 16, why do you think these guys, especially these athletes or these Black celebrities, why do you think it is they keep getting their little behind the scenes stuff a little bit messy?
Well, it's you start to see a pattern, and it's rough because sometimes, and I'm not trying to put this all on Shannon Sharpe, but a lot of times people who have long money feel like they're untouchable, and certain things that happen to other people won't happen to them. And I'm pretty sure in his head, he probably didn't figure that this would be something that he'd be having to deal with, since he's probably been, in a situation where he's commenting on other people going through it. Anytime somebody's alleging any type of sexual assault or anything to do with, though, that wording is dangerous because it's loaded, because you're dealing with someone's innocence. I'm not usually the one to jump to, oh, this person is lying or this a cash grab. It's like let the facts start to come out before we start trying to figure out who's doing what. But to answer your question, though, how do they end up in these situations? I just feel like sometimes people who, like I said, they live in a bubble where they're not as guarded as they should be, because they're so used to everybody, kissing their ass, and being, just going for their every need and everything. So I feel like some people, some of that they keep going through is that they feel like they're untouchable in a lot of aspects. And we're seeing in situations like this with Shannon Sharpe and others, that's not the case.
Yeah, I can completely agree with you. One of the things that's very interesting that I learned when I was kind of like doing research on this story is that he is allegedly in the middle of a very lucrative media deal, because I think he has the opportunity to sell Club Shay Shay to a different media company, because I think his current contract is up. So that's just kind of like allegedly like $100 million on the line right there. So I'm wondering, like, all of this seems coincidental. And for those who don't know, I'll give you a brief overview. And 16, I'll get your thought on this. Allegedly, there's a young lady named Gabriella Zuniga who is been identified as maybe she's 21 at this time, maybe 22. At the time, she was dealing with Shannon Sharpe. She was 19. She's definitely like an OnlyFans model and someone who he was into some kind of sexual relationship with. Well, now she's claiming that he allegedly essayed her, and now she's suing for $50 million. $50 million. Now she's hired this guy named Tony Bugsby, who has a reputation of suing athletes for this same type of alleged assault. So now some people in the industry say he's shady. I don't know what to think about it. However, I guess Shannon Sharpe called himself doing damage control and started releasing some explicit text messages between him and this young lady. Now, for those of you who may or may not know, at 16, I don't know if you know this, but do you remember last year? And I know we covered it. So if you want to hear what we said about this particular topic, you can go back and listen to one of our other YouTubes from last year when Shannon Sharpe got caught on Instagram Live. Remember, he had that sexual session with somebody, a lady named Michelle, and he said that he had no idea how he got on Instagram Live on his phone. You remember that?
Yeah, I recall
So
that.
he literally just had a scandal of a similar nature last year. And so here we are in 2025, and now he's caught himself in another situation. So do you think that this was convenient now that he has this lucrative media deal? Do you think someone's trying to sabotage him?
I love when the conspiracy starts to round the corner. First, I want to clear up something too that we said like a scandal. I mean, basically, he just got caught on Instagram Live doing some stuff, and that's probably not something that you want out there when you're being intimate with your partner or whatever. You don't want that out there. But there was no controversy as far as like him forcing himself on her or anything like that. So I just wanted to clear that part up. But as far as I hear stuff like this all the time. It gets brought up, like when you think about, you mentioned Tony Busby. So this is the lawyer that handled all of Deshaun Watson. If you don't know about Deshaun Watson, I mean, all you gotta do is Google his name, that'll come through. He also was representing the woman that accused Jay-Z of the same thing as well, even though that got dropped. Busby was representing her as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I hear stuff about this all the time where somebody's just about to strike a deal and then something pops up and this is the right time to do it and stuff like that. I don't subscribe to conspiracy at all. Is the timing questionable? I feel kind of, I don't know if I feel, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know if I'm in a place to tell someone if they feel like they've been violated. When's the right time for you to release that? But to some, it would seem convenient that at a time when he's getting ready to strike $100 million deal for his, I guess his entertainment empire or entity, that this type of situation would come out. He's already taken a self-imposed leave of absence from ESPN because of this to, dive headfirst into, trying to salvage his name and reputation. So convenient, maybe. Timing wise, it seemed like maybe it was probably a lawyer thing in her ear more than probably the alleged victim. It seemed like something the lawyers would try to do to make a splash. So it's possible that has something to do with it.
What I find interesting is he's been very adamant multiple times about wanting to, preferring to date women who are extremely younger than him. And when I say younger, he's like 54, I think. So he prefers dating women who are like under the age of 30. Now, I don't know if he can truly be surprised that he's in a situation dealing with somebody like that and the caliber of women that he's dealing with when he's doing this. However, it's very interesting because a year ago he had the actress and comedian Monique on his show, and they specifically were talking about him dating younger women. And she was trying to get him to understand that, listen, you keep dating women that young, you're going to have a lot of problems. And he laughed it off, and he was, extremely adamant, like that's what he wants. And she's like, listen, you need to get with someone who's age appropriate, who can actually have a mature relationship with you. At this time, I'm wondering, is that replaying in his head? I doubt it, but it's just something to talk about. Like, a lot of people online are kind of saying like, hey, she was foreshadowing, like, hey man, if you don't stop dealing with these women who are super, super young and the type of women you're dealing with, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And here we are a year later, he is in a lot of trouble.
Well, for context, and let me just go ahead and say this right now that Monique, anyway, here's a clip.
We're not debating her, just what she said.
Sure. So here's a Please Stand By. This is some of the conversation that he had with Monique.
This dating thing, because it's Mo is different now than when you and I.
It's different, baby. I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
You tried to say that. What you tried to say?
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, Mo.
Now I'm looking right at y'all. Let me tell y'all what Shannon needs.
Let me
tell you what my baby need. He need him an old fat gal who can bake good cakes, make some smothered turkey wings, who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay, and gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon needs. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old.
Well, another thing that we can talk about here is that we know that Shannon Sharpe does not date women in our community. Not a problem. What I do find interesting is that about 2 years ago, he did an interview with TMZ around some controversy about Bronny James dating a non-Black woman and taking her to prom. Now, that's not really a big deal. However, he was like, well, why do people want you to date somebody in the community? You shouldn't have to be miserable and all this other stuff and all this. Now, I find it interesting he was defending it, and that's fine. However, his track record of dating non-Black women has a long line of chaos and controversy. He also had an alleged other SA incident back in 2010 with another lady named Michelle Bundy. Now, I don't know why he doesn't have good luck with women. Now, mind you, these are not women, to my knowledge, in our community. But for him to make a statement like that and then his track record, it just something's not adding up. So we're going to actually include that clip, and you can let us know what you think about it.
And people are criticizing his prom date.
People would rather you be miserable with someone of your own race than you be in love with someone of a different race. It is so utterly ridiculous. I read the comments.
Yeah.
People need to get a life. Let that man be happy. I get it. But if that's not what brings him joy, if that's not what brings him happiness, who are you to tell him who he should be with because it's not of his race? The people.
That's right.
Our people, man, sometimes I get so sick of them sometimes because it's ridiculous. Let the man be happy. That's your problem. You went with someone because they're Black. That don't make you happy, but because society says, we should be with our own race, that's what you're willing to do. No, I'm gonna be with who makes me happy. Damn what y'all say. Y'all live y'all life, I'm gonna live my life. What is it costing you?
What do you think about that 16? So between his comments with, how do you want to tie all of this together,
Well, I don't know how like someone being violated in their eyes goes past race, but I understand where some people may try to piece together like, hey, you went outside of that and look what happens, even though there are a lot of the people who have been doing it's women of all colors this could happen to. Is it unfortunate that a brother of his stature has that feeling about I guess women of color? I mean, look, you can date who you want to or whatever, but there's a way to go about it in that aspect of you don't have to like it's so much generalizing. So all Black women are the same. So Diva, so all of y'all are the same. So every single Black woman is shaking her neck and giving you all that attitude. So let's just box you all. Yes, I'm saying let's box you all in a corner. You're all angry, Black, ready to stab the brother right in the spine. You know what I'm saying? And then you look on the other spectrum.
I'm angry right now. Do you see it? I'm angry right now.
And then you got flipping on the other side where you got the white girl, where the first thing I hear when I'm hearing something like that is like, so what are you looking for? Like, are they more submissive to whatever you want to do than what you feel like? So you feel like Becky will be more apt to do what you need her to do, but Shaquana not here for you and your bullshit. So that's why you're not, too much on that. I don't know. But this situation, when it comes to a woman speaking out about this, a lot of people will claim it's a cash grab, Diva. I mean, how do you deal with that? Like, it's a possibility, and I'm not trying to put guilt on him, and I'm not trying to paint her, the accuser, in a certain light. I'm just saying, if this did happen, then this should be taken seriously, right? Like, we shouldn't be attacking the victim if this is something that truly happened.
My personal thing is this: due process. I look at how everybody carries themselves as an individual and then as a collective together. I do believe they had some sort of sexual relationship. I do think it's suspicious that she has all of these random recordings of conversations with him. However, you knew the type of woman that you were dealing with. You're dealing with someone who's in that particular industry. I don't know what happened in which she switched over to feeling the way she's feeling allegedly in this case. I do think it needs to go to court and everybody needs to present their evidence and defend themselves. I don't take a side either way. I just think that I think it requires an investigation. I do think it's cheap of him to carry on the way that he's been carrying on. And now he's trying to accuse Tony Busby of basically targeting Black athletes or Black successful men, um, instead of him taking accountability for the kind of personal activities and who he's involving himself with basically at his caliber level. He should know better. He should know how to move better. He's seen so many times where um, other men just like him have got caught up, and I guess he didn't think it was going to happen to him. And
Yeah.
so if it's kind of like, don't let your good works be evil spoken of, basically. Like, if you're carrying yourself a certain way, like, you won't have to worry about this. But he's putting himself in these type of environments and exposing himself, knowing what he has to lose. And now he wants to blame someone else for literally what he also put out there and his own behavior. So I do think he needs to figure out how he's going to defend himself.
No, I could get with that, and it's I don't know. It's like when you hear stuff like this. I know it sounds like it's rinse, wash, repeat that a lot of these are coming out. It was a couple of things that I had a problem with though, with this whole situation, um, as far as like I guess how he's reacting to what came out. The first thing is
Hmm.
that a prepared statement is the first thing. Like
Right.
talking when he was talking about the situation, and he basically he's like he was reading off a teleprompter or off a paper or something like that. Like if in a
Hmm.
situation like this where I'm like my life is on the line, my reputation is on the line, I'm going to be speaking like I don't need a paper to talk about it. I don't need to I probably wouldn't even done anything in that manner on camera. Actually, it seemed kind of out of place.
No.
Is the first thing.
I mean, but he's got to consider. He just said this a year ago about the other situation with the girl Michelle, and he's like, "Oh, I just think he's messy with his personal life, and he's dating women who don't have anything to lose and have everything gained from him." You know, of course, he probably feels like he's more powerful than them, so it's really not going to matter. He got out of that last situation, right? Unscathed, pretty much, where he was able to, it was embarrassing. And I'm like, dude, you got kids, you know what I'm saying? You got a family. So he just did a whole apology tour last year in September when he got caught on Instagram Live. He has like 3.4 million followers alone on Instagram.
Yeah,
That's not Twitter. That's not uh Facebook, that's not YouTube, that's not any of those platforms. And so a year later, here you are in another situation revolving who you choose to sleep with, and now you're here apologizing again and saying that you're going to spend time with your family, and it's like the typical rigmarole. All of it was seemed to be rehearsed. I didn't feel like he was sincere about any of it. It was just, now he's embarrassed and now here we are again. And I'm like, you forget that you just did this last year. Kind
yeah.
of tacky.
It was kind of like I was like, yeah, when you speaking about matters like that, it just sort of writing down something prepared because I guess maybe you don't want to overstep or say anything, but you are a supposed trained orator, and you should sound more genuine and less ready than that. Just my
It should
opinion
sound
with
more
that.
personal,
Yeah,
right?
it should sound more
What do you think
personal.
about what do you think about him? Like, okay, so we're probably not going to post what he released, right?
I was just about to
On
mention
his
that, Diva,
Instagram page a couple of
about
days.
about the text
So
messages.
we'll talk. Yes, we'll talk about it, but you guys can go to his page to look at it because it's real. It's really giving black kink. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But it
and
doesn't
if you don't know
prove
what I'm,
anything. It doesn't like
what
if
it doesn't prove the situation she's talking about. It just proves that you had a kink-like relationship with a white girl on OnlyFans. That's all
well,
it
no,
proves.
that's not what
That's
I
it.
was getting at with that because they're grown ups and they can text about whatever they want. My point with that is that just because she was in the mood to do some of that freak stuff, whatever the hell they got going on in those text messages, doesn't mean when she's alleging that he did some things that she wasn't okay with,
Right.
that couldn't happen too. So
Right.
releasing those text messages to me doesn't consequent. Oh, she was with everything we was doing. Yeah, at that point in time, maybe she was, but at another point in time, maybe she wasn't. So those text messages don't really do much for me because if they were in a consensual relationship, I can guarantee you, Diva, whoever you're dating, I'm married. You look at text messages in between that, between two people who are consenting adults, you're gonna get some things in that manner. That doesn't automatically make you innocent.
Are. No, it doesn't. Listen, I agree with you 100%, but I'm going to be devil's advocate. When you are in his profession, right? In his line of work, he is a NFL analyst. That is a family-oriented show, right? He is on YouTube, which has certain guidelines, and he's a business professional, Hall of Famer. You've got to look past the fact that it was consensual. This isn't really going to be all the way about consent. This is going to be a large part about character and how he's going to be able to be presented in the public. There's a reason that majority of these people that are on these platforms, personal life is personal. Because who wants to endorse someone who is into their sexual preferences and what they do in the bedroom is on public display? So when you go into these meetings and then you're representing these brands, like how are they supposed to take you serious? I think, yes, what you're saying is true, but there's a reason that you don't talk about your personal life that much at work. I didn't put any pictures on my desk. There's a reason why people have their Instagrams private or their social media private, or they don't post certain things. Or, yeah, I might be drinking wine or something, but I'm not going to put in a red Solo cup because of the way it looks. So this just looks bad. And the fact that I can go back and every couple of years he has an incident with a woman, it's just going to prove that it's possible in his character. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's possible. You can't say, like, he's got multiple incidences with women. He has a thing for dating younger girls. Like, it's just when they built his character in court, it's just not gonna look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't seem like he's in control of who he's dealing with. He doesn't have stable relationships with an actual woman. You see what I'm saying? So it's gonna look like it's possible. And based on it being allegedly consensual, this is like light BDSM or, be it, bondage type stuff. So that's a whole nother that's already a type of genre that's still hard for people to kind of like be okay with. So if anything, he's done all of this stuff to get through his career only to, even if he settles, people are still going to be like, they're very basically going to assassinate his character. It's already done. So I mean, no one's going to even care whether it was consensual or not at this point. They should care. Let me be clear. They should care. But in public opinion, I think his character at this point, especially having back-to-back incidences that were in the same category of sexual stuff, it's not a good look.
I'm not familiar with any. I hadn't done enough. Like, I was only really reading about this because a lot of these things that go on with athletes, like especially when you start talking about behind closed doors in their bedroom, I don't know. I don't want to know about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? What they do is what they do.
We don't need to know. We don't need to know. But there's a reason why. If you on channel 5 or channel 11, you don't know what them people got going on, do you?
No. So I'm just saying. So what happened in this other situation? Like, I'm like, if you could just educate me on. I mean, I heard about he had a situation at Fox. he had a situation while he was there at Fox that got covered up where it was like something to do with like a physical altercation, but that got settled. But are we talking about something else?
Well, all I know is, there's been a couple of incidences, whether it was he himself have admitted to being in a few sticky situations with women, where there was an altercation because there's another man involved or something like that. There was a woman who accused him of SA back in 2010. There was, a little bit of messiness when he was dating this chick named Katie Keltner. I think allegedly, from what I read, she cheated on him with somebody else and got a baby and then got married to that guy. So I think that was a little bit messy. He had the situation last year. Now he's got this situation, and I think there might be one or two other situations that I can't recall right now. But he don't have the best track record with who he picks and how much drama they bring. Definitely not saying a person has to be perfect or not have their drama, but when you keep having like either physical altercations or blow ups with people and or is something of not the best sexual type of consensual situation, like, I mean, people are going to start scrutinizing you. I would definitely say that.
Yeah, it's just anytime you have that out there and it's attached to your name, it's something definitely that you don't want, whether you got $100 million deal supposedly pending or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I'm ESPN, like I'm trying to think about, he's a valuable asset when it comes to television, but there are a lot of well-spoken athletes out there that can do what Shannon Sharpe does. He's got a boisterous personality. He was a great player. He's not a great interviewer. If you watch Club Shay Shay, you can see that he's not a polished journalist at all.
No.
But it just makes you start to wonder, like, if you're into these companies, not saying that you have to drop everything about something that could end up being false, but you could just literally go get somebody who's just as well spoken without none of the nonsense and do just fine with it.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, I really think this could potentially be his Negro wake-up call, that you could potentially lose your career to an extent, at least in the white space, for an OnlyFans model.
Yeah. We have a picture of Gabriella.
Yeah.
It's right there on the screen right there. Draw your own conclusions with that. That might be your type. It might not be, but that's where we are with that. But
at the same time,
yeah, it's just unfortunate that
I don't know how he's going to pivot from this. I think he'll still do well in our community just because the way we wired, child, like they just gonna still support him. I do think that I don't think ESPN is going to risk the backlash that they're probably going to get if they bring him back. I would be highly surprised. He said it was his choice to, take a break.
Which they agreed.
I don't think he's coming back from that. Now, I could be wrong. I just don't think until this court thing plays out, which could be, who knows. I just don't think they're going to want to be associated with him anymore. Like, I don't think it's going to be financially worth it to them.
Yeah, because I know he's saying it was his choice to do it, but they was going to sit him down anyway, though. Like, this is just a better,
No, of course. They're going to sit him down, so of course he's going to beat them to it. To me, like you said, I think he was calling himself getting ahead of it. Guys, if you go over and read those text messages, I wouldn't, and it's also suspicious how he just released those, calling himself being transparent was what he said in one of his videos. Like, I just want to be transparent. We want you to be less transparent. Shannon got tongue tied. We want you to be less transparent, okay? You've been transparent like since last year. We just want you to cover up what you do with you and your partners and just,
Yes.
It just seems like it was too PR driven, but it came off weird. Like, why would you release explicit? I think he wanted to prove,
but again, back to my
that
point,
she was initiating all this stuff, but I don't know if it's true or not. Like, we really don't know. That could have been coming from anybody.
It
So,
doesn't prove, even if it's actually her, it doesn't prove, yes, in that moment, she's texting you saying that oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say that she wants you to put baby gravy in her. My God, that in the
oh
moment, that's
no.
what she
You
wanted.
you have to use the kinky word. You know, she wants a big black baby.
Yes.
That's what
And
she said.
it's, and in that moment, yeah, she was with that. But that doesn't mean that she was good with it at the time that she was alleging that this happened. Again, I'm not
We don't
taking
even know
sides.
what incident she's talking about.
We
And
don't.
then it's just like the whole phone call was cringe. Like, if you guys didn't listen to the phone call, like, go listen to it. It was just so awkward. So awkward.
I just want people and their bedroom stuff to stay there. Like, this is a part of Shannon Sharpe that I don't want any part of. He's a very good sports analyst. He has a funny personality. But this, like, it's too much of it. Like,
We
you
heard
know,
enough last year, okay, when he was talking Michelle through, okay. That was the talk of TikTok.
that's what I'm saying. You got Deshaun Watson, you know what I'm saying, with that. Before, we had talked about the kicker Justin Tucker, who's been banned from all those massage parlors in Baltimore.
What is going on? What is going on with these men? What we need to figure out, like, what is really going on with them? Like, why is there
people
the
should learn from?
deviancy is
They
crazy.
should be looking at other folks. I mean, from all aspects of entertainment. Look at Vince McMahon. He got kicked out of his own empire because he couldn't keep it in his pants. It's like, I don't know what to say with that. Shannon Sharpe is a grown-ass man. He can date and do whatever he wants, you know, when it comes to the aspect of he's dating women who are of age and they're doing things behind closed doors. But when you get yourself caught up in situations like this, it starts to make you wonder about the caliber or type of woman that you're dealing with. And to say that about, okay, well, what's his preference, black or white? I don't know. I don't care. But it seems like he has I don't know what's the word I'm looking for with this, but it's like, I don't know. It's like he attracts the same type of, if this has been a pattern, then maybe you need to look at yourself and the caliber of people that you're dating. Like, in a minute, if they're all the same, then maybe he's the problem, potentially, is all I'm saying. Because if they have similar personalities, maybe that's an issue that he needs to look deeper in, figuring out who he needs to date, what type of partner he needs, and how to stay out of situations like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. So I don't know what he's about to do, but I'm gonna kind of stay tuned and I'm be curious about it. Sorry, my leg fell asleep because I'm just,
You're just so engrossed in the conversation that you have sat on your leg and made it go to sleep. So we'll take that opportunity to wrap this segment up by saying, you know, hey, listen, I guess we got to wait for more facts. They can keep the explicit text. We're good on that. All right. I think Diva would say the same. Like, we're good on that part of it.
no,
but
we're good. Like, we don't need to see anymore.
Again, when you're dealing with situations of, you know, people saying that their well-being has been violated, you just hope on either side that some type of positive outcome can come out of all this, is all we can say. But I can tell you something that is not positive, and that's releasing more of them texts. Don't put none of them out. No sex tapes, none of that. That's not positive. Let's keep that out of that.
We good over here.
We are good. And we'll be even better right after this.
You are now listening to the Radio Show ATL.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do some girl math for you. Okay, he's 77?
72.
He's 72.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's do a little girl math here. Okay, he's 72, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That means he definitely is going to eat dinner by 4, and he's definitely sleep by 7, and he's what we call a pat your knee kind of fella. He ain't asking for much, just a little basic affection, hand holding, a little hugs, and he's probably quite busy doing his own thing. A little grumpy, likes his hobbies, just wants you around. You don't have to really perform anything. So yeah, I mean,
I don't know, Diva. I ain't gonna lie. He getting that boom boom at night for sure.
You're listening to the Radio Show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
Hey guys, we're at that time of the show where we get off our chest something that is bugging the hell out of us. And this segment is called Random. And if you watch any of our other shows, you know, sometimes we participate in random before the end of the show. But today I'm going to go ahead and kick it off and then I'll see if 16 has something. So let me tell you guys my random for today, okay? I, this year, have gone to a middle school basketball game with cheerleaders. And I have recently gone to a high school talent show. I got a bone to pick with you choreographers and moms, and now I'm talking to our community because there seems to be. Now, 16, you got daughters, right? You understand. I what? Okay, I've been at these shows and these choreographed dances. I feel some type of way. Like I don't feel comfortable watching. I literally watch majority of a talent show like this because I felt so awkward. Y'all gotta stop letting these young ladies do over sexualized dance choreography moves. Like it was so bad. Like I didn't know if I was at Onyx or Blue Flame or a talent show. Like the song choice, I felt some type of way. I'm like, now I know I'm probably gonna get a lot of heat for this because you don't have kids and you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm like, bro, we were talking about 15 to 17-year-old minors doing splits and flips and body rolls and you know, and in tight like all of this and silhouette dancing with the lights off and all this other stuff.
Not you doing it too, Diva.
I'm grown. I do what I want. But I do not want to watch a 14-year-old do it or a 15 or 16, 17-year-old do it. It's cringe, right? Like there's ways to do modified cute stuff, but like y'all are killing me with these girls. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. They were some good dancers and they were too good. Some of them, I'm like, too good. But yeah, like I don't want to see, you know, pee popping and legs flying open and flips and they all look like they took a book out of Joey Chavez. Like she's a phenomenal dancer, but also a grown woman. So again, please consider the clothes, the nails, the hair. Like I know they're gonna do it, but like a little moderation and a little decorum with the dancing. That's all I got. Like I know I sound like an old lady, but what I'm saying is this junk was so. I wasn't the only person that was like, and the lyrics. I would never have my grandma or my mom and my daddy sit in the audience and be the lyrics to some of these songs had no shame, child, and they just dancing and doing all of this. And if I see one more thigh slap with a hair flip back roll, I'm cut it out. Cut it out. Thank you.
Okay.
16.
Okay, so Diva, I'm gonna clear something up. You do not sound like a old lady clutching her pearls. It's a valid concern. Children should stay children. So I'm not gonna call you no old lady on this one. I'm gonna just let that be. Okay. You know, normally if I had a chance to, you know, get something in on you, I would, but in this manner, when we start, and then you hit me in a soft spot because, you know, I got two daughters, I got two sisters.
16,
I understand.
16. I know you and your wife would never let your daughter be crawling around on the stage like
Absolutely
this.
not. Absolutely
You know,
not.
and then throwing her legs like this and crossing them back and flipping them over and then doing a back. No, y'all, I know y'all not doing it.
No.
So I'm gonna need y'all stop letting y'all daughters do that crap. It's not cute.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yes, let's let the children stay the children. All right, so the random segment, which we should call, like I said, the ATL Diva segment, because you know you always take the show where you want to go to with this one. But I want to get on this real quick because they've been bothering me. Recently, I've been spending way too much time in traffic, way too much, and I'm gonna put an end to it as soon as I possibly can to stop being in so much traffic out here in Atlanta because it's awful. We can all speak to that on this show with us all living in Atlanta. It's terrible. But being in traffic, it allows me to see a lot of stuff, including bumper stickers and things like that. And I've been seeing a lot more recently of, well, this goes out to the Blue Lives Matter people. Y'all irritate me because the people who back the blue and Blue Lives Matter, it bothers me because, yes, in theory, each citizen of the United States should support people who represent upholding the law. I get that. But to walk around with merchandise and putting it on your car and stuff, to me, it kind of have a little racial undertone to it a little bit, and I don't like it, because the way I could try to, I guess, compare the two, it's like if you're watching a sporting event, it's like you rooting for the officials to make great calls. You don't want to know about the official. You don't want them making calls against your team that are bad. Trust me, I know about bad calls against your team that cost you big games. But that's like rooting for the official in a sporting event. You're watching two teams play, not rooting for the official to make calls. Nobody walks around with a referee hat or shirt on. So I guess the point is that when I hear Blue Lives Matter, or like back the blue, it feels loaded to me, because it's like you're saying, well, they acted correctly in this situation no matter what, so I back the blue, because most of the time back the blue means they're usually assaulting somebody of color or being excessive with somebody of color. So when you're wearing that and you feel like, oh, I'm upholding the law, you're really telling on yourself and how you really feel when it comes to stuff. And I hope these tariffs that are coming down truly do affect you when it does go down, because I get the undertone that you're trying to get at. I see what you're doing, and I don't appreciate it at all. So I know what you're at, Blue Lives Matter crew, just so you know, you're not fooling anybody. Just put it out. And that's coming from somebody who has, my dad and my uncle were both in law enforcement over 30 years, served their communities well. But at the same time, I'm not sitting up there wearing a sheriff's deputy hat because I'm rooting for the team. All right. You might want to look into yourself and see what you got going on with that. That's all I got, Diva. I just had to get that off my chest because I'm seeing a little too much of it,
Dang, I mean, I thought that kind of died down. So, I mean, we be in the same area now sometimes. So I think I need to keep you know what? But I don't interstate drive anymore. I mostly take the streets, back roads all the way. I cannot. The traffic is horrible.
Yeah, because the freeway here is like, it's chock with everybody. But, if you're driving around the county that we live in, you're going to see mostly people who live in the county that we live in. But
it's definitely blue down there.
Yep. So I just wanted to toss that out there. And if you feel offended by what I was saying, like, I don't
You're
care.
a part of the problem.
Yes. And I again, I had to reiterate that I don't care. I don't care.
But then are they also watching our show though? I don't know.
Probably
Unless you're trying to spy and be nosy. So
maybe, but no, maybe they came here for the Shannon Sharpe talk, and then they're like, "Whoa, where did race come from? What do you mean? Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter?" You're telling on yourself. I'm just saying, putting that out there. All right, well, that was the random segment where we take the show where we want to. We'll be right back after.
You are now listening to the Radio Show ATL.
So, Eds want to hear some of that. Come here, boy. Hey, boy, come here. That's what you want, some of that, Easy? Get out of here.
You're listening to the Radio Show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Radio Show ATL, now where we talked about Shannon Sharpe. So hopefully we get a little bit of a update. We might do a part 2 if you guys are interested. We're going to keep our eyes open. And thanks for hanging out with us. Clearly you didn't have anything else to do, so you decided to hang out with us because we're a lot of fun here. I was so nice to M-16 today, so I'm going to let 16 tell you how else you can listen to us and where you can follow us. And if you want to send us an email, where to send it to.
Yes, that part. And yes, we were surprisingly cordial. I don't know how long this is going to last, but, we were talking about a sensitive subject. And usually when we talk about sensitive subjects, we don't go that route. But we will resume the normal shenanigans next week, we promise. But anyway, so, remember, every like and subscribe gives us another like and subscribe. So like and subscribe. All right. Now, as far as the Radio Show ATL goes, if you want to be a guest on the Radio Show ATL, just send us an email to radioshowinbox@gmail.com, or you can send us a text 678-800-1677. We look forward to hearing from you. This was a great episode. A lot of information packed into a short, abridged show. We appreciate all the support from the people who listen and watch the show. It's because of you, giving us support that not only have we become monetized on Facebook, but we're also monetized for our audio podcast through our great partners at Podbean. So we are very much appreciative of that from the people who download the show and all that good stuff. So we appreciate it. And we're gonna get there with YouTube. We'll get there. It's one of those things, but we appreciate the support regardless. Please just remember and never forget, you're not just listening to a radio show or some radio show. You're listening to the Radio Show ATL. Thank y'all for listening and watching, and we'll catch y'all next time. Ain't that right, Diva? We'll catch them next time with some shenanigans. Yeah.
Cheers.